An agenda in front of you for September the 6th. Is there any additions or deletions? None, motion to approve the agenda as presented.
So moved. Second.
Favor? Opposed? Carried. Okay, 3.1, we have the minutes of August 22nd.
Up to circulated?
Second.
Errors, deletions. Opposed? Carried. Okay, there's no bylaws. Number 4, there's no delegations. Number 6, we can't have any comments from the public. Good so far. I love those thumbs up. Okay, 7.1, hiring policy, 6.7.
The Mayor and Council, our first item tonight is a recommendation to rescind the existing hiring policy and approve the new revised hiring policy. Briefing authored by our Manager of Human Resources, who is here to speak to the report if there are any questions.
Questions? Yes.
I just have a clarification. Ron, oh, there you are. Sorry, Rhonda. Under 6.4, it means senior management as well as directors and CAO, or does it mean senior management which can include directors and CAO? So which? Thank you.
Any other questions? Thoughts? Motion to that hiring policy 6.2 be rescinded and 6.7 recruitment, selection, and hiring policy be adopted.
I'll make that.
Any more discussion? Okay, purchasing and tendering policy.
Recommendation tonight is that purchasing and tendering policy 5.10, 1997 be rescinded, and the new policy 5.16 be adopted. Report authored by our Chief Financial Officer, who is here to speak to the report if there are questions.
Questions? Councilor Franco.
Just, is it, you have to go out for tender over 100,000? That's different from before, Margaret, or? Was, yeah. Yeah, perfect. Yeah, it was 25 or 50. Yeah.
I guess.
I'll make the motion.
Sorry.
I'll second it.
Okay. Any other comments? I have a question. Is the policy outlines in 4.2 things that the policy does not apply to? I guess the biggest thing is can you explain, I've talked to Gerald a wee bit on this. What will tell us what it does kind of apply to? It goes from here.
I think what you're asking is how these things normally are done by either a resolution of council, so then they're just done for a specific reason. They're a project that's a one-off, or there are things that we do daily on a regular basis that we wouldn't go out. Purchasing authority of most of the, as they went above something, then it would fall under the rules.
Well, there is another policy coming, am I right?
Yes.
At the next meeting?
Could be. I just have to check through the senior management team first.
Okay. Any further questions? Favor? Opposed? Carried. Inaugural meeting in October community.
The recommendation tonight is to schedule the inaugural meeting for the next council term to be held on November 7th at 5:30 p.m. and to cancel the scheduled meeting on October 17th. Our corporate officer is here to speak to the report tonight if there's any questions.
Councilor Lozey.
So I just want to clarify, the October 26th meeting is canceled then as well? And the 26th of September will be our last meeting?
It's just the October 17th.
Okay.
We do the whole.
Okay, perfect.
The
Yeah.
last meeting of this council will be October 20th.
Second it.
Okay, I guess the biggest thing is, our findings coming back, our reports coming back from UBCM, they need to be somehow documented. And if they're not in the committee of the whole, would they be just in the regular council meeting?
Yeah, so through the mayor to council, they would be a for information report that's provided in the context of a regular council meeting, along with any other departmental reports that would normally be provided on a monthly basis.
Any other questions? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Okay, pickleball fee waiver request.
So the recommendation from staff tonight is that a fee waiver request from Vandergrift Pickleball not be approved. And just to speak to this report before passing over to our Director of Community Services, this recommendation was developed consistent with council policy on grants of assistance and the arena fees and charges. And has my support by its inclusion on the agenda. As always, council has the freedom to accept or reject the advice of administration based on its own perceptions of the situation and using the information provided. Our Director of Community Services is here to speak to any questions to the report or the item, along with our other staff if there are other related questions.
Questions? So the cost is $1,000 at this point that they've run up.
Yeah, were you waiting?
Oh, just hang on one second. Councilor Lozey and then Councilor Murphy.
Okay, so that $1,000 is for 2 months then, right? Be from $1,000, yeah, okay, and then
And they're using it 3 times a week, not twice a week. So
they're using,
Monday and Wednesdays, and then they're using the Sundays, which is really hard for me, or on Saturday mornings, right? So that's where it comes into play for me is every time I have somebody wanting to use the building, I then have to contact them and say, look, I have you guys in there because I actually have somebody that's willing to pay. You know what I mean? So,
okay,
I looked at all different scenarios and these small little things, guys, it was a lot of extra work for me. And I'll be honest, when it comes to, even the covered area down at Riverside, we get no money for the covered area, right? But yet I have bookings sometimes 2 or 3 times a week. It makes no sense we're booking that out at all. It should be just on, you know what I mean? So these little things that we keep, not only that, I've also had user groups come up to me and say, well, why do they get it for free? So that's the hard part for me is, I'm all about trying to make things work and I'm open to ideas, but when you look at, everything, it was a lot of extra work for me. Especially like with the circus, I had to cancel and you know what I mean? Those little things take up time and the time I just didn't have the time.
Hey, Councilor, do you have a supplementary question? Okay, go ahead.
okay, so I just want to really, so the weekdays would not have been as onerous as the Saturday night?
Correct.
Okay, so, and then, I guess the other thing is if there was a deal where for free means that if a paying customer wanted to use it, then you're bumped. Like if we gave it to them for free and said, didn't charge them and said, you can use it twice a week because the Saturday is really difficult. You could use it twice a week, but if somebody wants that time and they want to pay, then we're going to bump you if you want it for free.
It would depend on the agreement we would have.
Yeah, that's what I
So
mean.
if an agreement where, say pickleball cleaned up after themselves.
Yeah.
Absolutely, we'll look at those different costs that
Okay.
would come into play. I'm all about trying to figure out a
Yeah,
way that
okay.
works for everybody because, I mean,
But you're right. We didn't have extra staff and then,
it
yeah.
was a struggle because
Yeah.
we barely had enough staff for beautification and then we had staff inside
Yeah.
cleaning floors when we were giving, you know,
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah.
but at the same time, you know, I mean, we can look at different.
Yeah, scenario.
Yeah.
Yeah, different, what you would like to see.
I just thought it was really important to put it all out there, so
Yeah.
you guys have all the information and understand, you know, from my perspective or.
Yeah, absolutely.
Councilor Moutre.
So what, what is the hourly you rent?
On the hour, what is it, 40 an hour? So we thought about doing up an agreement where we would, maybe staff in there this year. So this is without having staff in the building. If we actually had staff in the building, you got to think about the cost of having staff in there on top of everything else too, right? So, I mean,
I understand this group has been paying up to $50 to use other places here in town to also. I'm not a fan of them getting ours for free if they're
and I've heard that too.
other venues that they're paying money to rent.
Okay, Councilor Moutre.
I think that's fair enough going forward. This group, we were looking at spending sort of $750,000 or trying to spend $750,000 to build a pickleball court. They came back to staff with, hey, what if instead of spending that money, we get to use the arena for free? That was in there. I've got an email chain that shows that that was their ask. They said, we'll clean up after ourselves. You just show us what to do. We'll get it done. The conversation went on and they were under the standing that that was what was accepted, is that their proposal that it was for free. So that's why they're surprised now with the $1,000 bill that they weren't informed they were going to receive. And so that makes policy hard, right? There's policy, but then if they're proposed that they would get it for free and then not a response that that wasn't the case, I have a really hard time charging them.
Councilor Franco and then our CEO.
Yeah, and probably, we need to charge for our facilities. This is what we do. I agree with Councilor Moutre. If we have something on the docket that says they're going to use it for free this summer, I don't mind waiving the $1,000, but forewarn everybody next year that here's the hourly rate. So it's going to be, and that's still a subsidy. When I look at the cost, it's still going to be a subsidy at $42. So, I mean, when we look at our arena rates, I don't think we're charging that, but that's okay. But
And we have some COVID money to cover.
yeah, so this $1,000 should come out of that, but
Yeah.
the rest of it should just give me forewarning.
Yeah.
Next year. That's just my thought.
CEO.
So through the mayor to council, just to kind of speak to the issue again, my expectation of staff, as I'm sure as the council, is to follow and adhere to council policy. That said, council does have the authority if it decides to vary or waive that policy to fit circumstances it deems it require those certain situations. But for staff, we don't have that authority to vary the policy. Not without meeting some specific requirements that are outlined within any given policy.
I guess I would just like to say, similar to what a few of your comments is, I think for this year, we have money in the COVID budget to cover the $1,000. And then they need to follow a policy either by coming and requesting a grant. The grant time, when's that, October, November?
October 31st applications are due by.
Okay, so they need to apply for a grant for next year, or B, find a sponsor to sponsor them through this, similar, to what we have with drop-in
Or
hockey.
charge a membership.
Yeah, well, we have drop-in hockey and pub skating and things like that. And the thing is, but those are sponsored events. But anyways, it gets to me is, I think, like, that would be my thing, is to waive the fee this year, but then say we have to follow suit. There's a number of avenues. I think your staff have kind of highlighted what the opportunities are that are going forward. Councilor Young.
Yeah, I agree with all those statements. I think it'd be good for us somehow to communicate to the other groups. Somehow it's out there, it's transparent that, this is almost like a pilot where we had an arrangement and then going forward, because they would feel that, that bill was covered up by council. No, it came from COVID money. This is a pilot. There was a need. Now we know what it's going to cost going forward. They're going to have to, everything that was being said before.
Yeah.
But I would like them to understand that this was not paid for. It was back to equity, right? And I think we're all quite concerned about how people feel about that. So no one's getting off scot-free. This is a pilot going forward. And like Councillor Moutre brought up, we were trying to find a way to house this with not spending a whole bunch more money. Communication is important because we don't want to upset. Everybody goes, well, now I want this for you, right? So,
Want to make that motion?
yeah, make that motion. That long-winded one?
I'll second it.
Do you have that, Ethan?
No.
Basically, what the motion read was that we will forgive the $1,000 fee for this year based on the fact that we were coming out of COVID and we were doing a trial pickleball thing. Going forward, the policy needs to apply either by way of sponsorship or by applying for a grant by October 31st.
Are we waiving the fee or are we using the COVID relief funds?
Relief funds
That's what
to
I
waive-
think we're doing, yeah.
Yeah, to waive the fee.
No,
Yeah.
still pay it.
Yeah, still good.
Well, yeah, because it has to be covered off, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we need those funds, so. That recognizes there's a cost.
Yeah.
And that cost isn't going away going forward, so.
Is COVID.
Yeah, it's the code.
Then we should have fun. You get that, Ethan?
Yeah.
More discussion. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Lieutenants at UBCM.
The Mayor to Council, this item is listed as a verbal item for those members of council traveling to the UBCM conference and wishing to have their spouse's attendance at the conference covered by the District of Vanderhoof, which has been done previously in the past, 2019 and earlier. We require the resolution of council just authorize the travel and expenses.
Discussion. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. July building report. Any comments, questions?
McDonald's earlier or?
Mayor to Council, McDonald's was a 2021 commercial permit.
In the house on Reed Drive?
That one, I believe, was started last year as well. These are just the permit applications that were registered for July 2022.
Yeah, just for the 1 month.
Yeah.
This isn't. Yeah. Okay, Gacho First Nation.
The recommendation tonight is to issue a letter of support regarding the proposed Anaheim connector route to the El Cacho First Nation to support their own advocacy measures to build the connector road. We're also looking for council to discuss the district's participation on the Anaheim Connector Committee after November 2022. And also discuss a follow-up meeting with the El Cacho First Nation to discuss the progress towards building the Anaheim Connector.
Make the motion that we write a letter of support to the Anaheim Connector. Also to appoint after November, or however it works, but appoint a DOV elected official to the working group.
Did they want 2 or 3?
I think that's,
You remember?
I thought they said
I think
3.
they talked about 2 or 3, but I think it's gonna be based on what the final makeup is in terms of what members they're bringing as well. So it's starting at 2.
If we have one down there, Councilor Young, I think that would be way better than where we are now.
Yeah.
But if it's 2, then it's 2. But I can go up to 2 in the motion if you wish.
I guess to me, I think it needs to be 2. And the thing is, I guess my concern is the new council is gonna have enough work in the beginning. And I think they can replace people, but I think to at least have the start, to me, like they wanted to have a meeting before.
I thought so too.
So I would like to see us appoint a couple people to that committee now that is going to be there, and then the new council, they can replace them if that's. At least we have the ball started rolling. Relationship. I've been in touch since then. I've been in touch with the local First Nation. I haven't received a response from the local First Nation, but they're already. This was a really positive meeting that we attended, and I think we need to. I don't know. I would like to appoint 2 people. If a couple of you that are going to run the next term, are willing to.
Interesting.
And I think if we appoint 2, then if the mayor at that time wants to go on the committee and the chief on the other side is on, then the thing is, then you can have 3. I thought I heard 3. That's what they were.
I heard 3 on each side.
Each side, yeah. Yes, Councilor Pringle.
That was a volunteer.
Volunteer?
Yeah. I'd love to do that too.
But I think as a mayor, to be.
I guess, yeah, sure. That's interesting.
Would you be?
But,
Do you not think that's?
Yeah, that's probably the best way.
Is to appoint 2 and then the mayor, would be on that.
Second.
So in that second bullet, we'll say our participation will be made out of Councilor Franco and Young and the mayor. And come November, yeah. And I guess if they decide that they want to do something beforehand, I can listen in on a meeting. Yes.
And so this meeting would happen obviously before.
Whatever they want to
When
do.
they want to.
Mhm.
Okay.
And the thing is, but the biggest thing is that this meeting may come in December, okay? And the first council is, they've got orientation. When's orientation?
2 meetings in November.
So